Alzheimer's has no cure or even therapy to stop its progression, and it's especially heartbreaking in initial stages when the victims are actually aware of their own decline.
King 5's John Sharifi and photojournalist Doug Burgess share one family's journey with this disease in its early stages.
Have you heard the one about the guy?
Many times.
Yeah, he tells it a lot. Yes.
It goes like this.
The guy goes to see his doctor, and the doctor just tells him, I got some really bad news for you.
Bad news for two things.
He says, what's that? He says, you got cancer.
Cancer, and it looks terminal. He says, well, that's terrible.
He goes, oh, that's horrible. He says, well, I got worse news than that.
Well, what's the second thing? He goes, well, you have Alzheimer's.
And he looked back at him and says, well, at least I don't have cancer.
Lon Cole has this way about him. Disarming, with his humor.
Over my head. It makes me feel good to know I can make people smile.
I dare you not to smile, watching this.
Yes! I made it!
And then there's the way he greets people.
They ask me how I'm doing, I tell them alive and thankful.
They are words.
Alive and thankful.
This father of two.
It's become such a major part of who he is.
Now we're used to it.
That's pretty good.
Grandfather of 8.
Because everybody knows I say that.
Lives by.
I'm alive and thankful.
But he is thankful. He is thankful to be alive.
Halfway there.
And saying it.
Alive and thankful.
Every day. Since the day he came home from
it was hell.
Vietnam.
Well, I was a combat medic in Vietnam, and my job was to keep people alive. One day I went out to patch a guy up and I got shot.
Lon was left for dead when a Vietnamese soldier attached to his unit
and found me and put me over his shoulder and carried me back.
You remember that well?
Oh yes, I'll never forget that.
To hear him say that he'll never forget that is heartbreaking. Once you realize
it's pretty difficult to see your dad change.
And he has.
Yeah.
A guy goes in to see his doctor. The doctor tells him,
why don't we just do a full battery of tests on you?
Lon is that guy, and this is no joke.
Alzheimer's is just one dementia. There's several of them. There's frontal lobal, there's, going blank again.
Is that the Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Lon was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's 3 years ago at the age of 61.
It's like a fog comes over me. I can't think at all. My mind's gone blank.
It's almost like there's a couple of lights have gone out.
The way Lon sees it?
Well, at least I don't have cancer.
You got to find peace within your soul. And laughter can help you do that.
Early onset is when symptoms begin appearing before 65.
Do we lose all that we are?
Like it did for everyone in Lon's support group.
Do we know what this is going to be?
I don't remember that song. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
To this, there's no control.
His wife, Chris, attends a support group for partners.
It kind of makes him get anxious all the time.
She's been his rock.
Most of the time, I just tell him I love him and, are you okay, big guy?
And I see a little bit of fear sometimes.
He still has a lot of his mind with him, and so...
A guy sitting there. He's got Alzheimer's, alone with his thoughts, and plenty of time to think.
I think he's very fearful of what's coming.
Are we forgotten as we forget?
Images come to him, and phrases.
It usually comes like a flash.
That's when he knows it's time.
I think sometimes he's not aware of what's coming out in those words and how they'll affect people.
I wish I could remember like I used to before. Demented. When will it darken, either day or night? Do we lose all that we are?
Those thoughts swirling in his head.
Or is the dream that never ends just memories so distant and far?
Bits and pieces of his soul coming out.
I served my country well. I did my time in hell. Was I just there? Does anyone know? Young. So young.
Lon grabs those thoughts.
The names and the faces, I knew every one.
Puts them down on paper. before they disappear.
There's an urgency there.
I write it down before I forget it.
Have you heard the one about the guy
I'm not afraid to face it.
who leaves behind
Be strong if you can. Life will go on.
something no one can ever take from him?
Okay, guys, have fun. Bye-bye.
It's his gift to his family.
It amazes me.
It's just a blessing to be his daughter.
His poems and pieces of his memory.
I haven't forgotten how to laugh or to cry, or say I'm alive and thankful when someone walks by. You're a super girl.
Okay, I love you.
John Sharifi, King 5 News.
Okay.
The local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association is seeing more and more people with early onset Alzheimer's. That disease often strikes at a time when its victims are at the peak of their careers. In Lon's case, he was already retired as a business owner. Now he has his heart set on publishing a book of his poems.